They didn't have chickens on board, but they might as well have.
So some kid had been down in sugar packs on the bus. I was like, it's like driving an 18,000-pound microwave that's on.
All right. Welcome to the Gritty Podcast. See that? Ted, did you hear that radio voice right there?
It's pretty good.
I'm joined today in the Gritty studio by Sam Soholt, also known as
the bus guy.
The bus guy.
That's you? I had no idea.
Yeah,
it's a good identity, though.
Ted, you've known Sam a while, but this is new information.
Yeah, I had no idea until just now.
Just now. And the famous Ted Wells. I'm joined by the famous Ted Wells, who takes marvelous photographs.
Thank you.
Marvelous. And who are both 31 years old.
Yep.
Avid bird hunters. Would you classify yourself as that, Sam?
Yeah, absolutely.
Avid bird hunters.
Yep.
And I, not so much a bird hunter, but today and yesterday, I went on a duck hunt yesterday and a goose hunt today. And I have some questions for these gentlemen. Rapid fire. You don't get to ask for clarification. Okay? You just need to answer the question.
Okay.
Okay? Please. Okay?
Yep.
All right. We can touch on it afterward.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to start with Sam. Okay? 3 questions. Okay, ready?
Ready.
Raft or flock?
Depends on what they're doing.
See? I need a raft or flock answer.
Raft on the water, flock in the air.
All right. Pair of singles or set of singles?
Pair of loners or singles. Yeah.
Wow.
Singles flying in tandem.
All right. Fake bird or decoy?
Decoy.
Okay. You ready, Ted?
Yep.
Questions for you. They get harder.
Okay.
If it's a decoy, as Sam claims, then what is a deek?
It's just a lazy way to say decoy.
All right. Difference between a crow and a raven?
If you kill it, it's a crow. If it flies away, it's a raven.
Neither of which have souls. All right.
And some of which is illegal, so don't.
Yeah.
Depends on what state you're
Back to you, Sam. Bow or rifle?
Yes.
Okay, Ted. Turkeys with a bow or shotgun?
Shotgun.
Sam?
Shotgun.
Shotgun. We're going to have to touch on this later.
Yeah.
That's all I've ever done. I've killed one with a
I
shotgun.
can't clarify on it now. Later.
Go ahead. Let's clarify it now.
You can archery hunt turkeys. I like archery hunting turkeys if I can't shoot them with a shotgun. Like if it's an early season that allows me to start hunting turkeys early, I'll go shoot them with a bow all day long. As soon as I can get a shotgun in my hand, shotgun.
Why is that?
They were meant to be killed with a shotgun.
The first time we hung out was in Arizona hunting coos deer.
Yep.
With
Also
Mr.
made
Randy
to be
Newberg.
killed with a rifle.
And we had this discussion. Also made to be killed with a rifle. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're tough with a bow.
They are.
And then, do you feel like perhaps a animal as fast twitch as a coos deer could perhaps suffer more wounding with a bow?
I would definitely say it's possible.
Yeah.
They're pretty flighty.
Yeah. So when you aim for the heart, you could hit the butt.
It's possible.
I mean, it's possible.
Yeah. Anything's possible.
You know, actually, when I hunted with Sloan Brown over at the Soggy Bottom Ranch in Texas, I filmed in high speed a few does I shot, at 240 frames per second, or 220, 240, something like that.
240
Super
probably.
slow. And just got the camera ready, and I'm using the FS5, so you got to push it after the shot. You know? So anyway, I filmed it, and at 20 yards, I had 2 does completely matrix the arrow. One of them knew I was there, was looking right at me, and then one of them didn't know I was there. They both dodged.
Did you measure the drop? On the screen?
Yeah.
How far it would have been?
Yeah. Their chest hit the ground. I still hit them and killed them, but the arrow went in completely different places.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I learned also in one that I missed, like at 30 yards, there's just enough time for them to drop and be completely below where the arrow goes through and then be back up, after the shot has passed. Mm-hmm. So at 30 yards, it's almost better to aim super low. At 40, we were kind of doing the calculations like, okay, if you anticipate he's going to move and be back up in this position at 40, then you aim blah, blah, blah. It was kind of a wild deal. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I think that with turkeys, they're not going to matrix you really, but
not usually.
They are small. So they have small kill zones.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they often get maimed instead of killed with an arrow.
Yeah. You end up seeing a lot of them shot with an arrow that don't get recovered. And a lot of times you end up just taking feathers. So it's not like they're limping off or something, but you just trim them.
It's fox
Give
food.
them a haircut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So there you have it, folks. Turkeys with a shotgun.
Yes. Unless you can't hunt them with a shotgun. Then it's archery.
Hunt them no matter what.
Yeah. And then put the decoys at like 6 or 7 yards. I think that's the answer.
All right. You ready?
Yep.
High ball or comeback call?
Can you define both for me?
Dude, I don't know. They're part of the... Okay, hang on. Wait. Here. I've got it right here on my Googleizer.
Okay.
I
would never highball. I would do like a very low and slow greeting and a little chuckle. And I comeback call. I mean, I kill him on the first pass, right?
Okay. In duck calling, a high ball is a loud series of ringing quacks blown one after the other.
Yeah, they're super annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Is used to catch the attention of ducks that are far away.
Mm.
Then where's that one? And what if ducks start to leave? Many hunters blow a comeback call.
Yeah,
which
that
is
would
a
be like a real
series.
quick series of notes just to get their attention back.
Remind them that where you're hiding is where they want to be.
I got to take this note.
It's like, hey man, come back.
Okay. I'm a student. I'm here to learn, and I have two of the best here in front of me. So
I don't know about that. Ted, maybe. But.
Might be a little much.
Ted sounded like maestro today on that call.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I thought you were a whole flock of
thank you.
Geese.
I'm not very good.
It was quite.
I call enough to kill geese.
It was quite a sexy ensemble, really.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Ready for this one, Ted?
Yeah.
I like how uncomfortable you are on the microphone. This is the best.
I'm terrible.
Okay, Ted, here we go. Flare or hang up?
You can divine those both ways, I think.
Okay.
A flare is like, get out of town. Something's bad, wrong. That would be like your big, they hit the wind and they're gone.
So you're talking like when the geese are coming in.
Yeah, like
and
if they're...
our friends are on the ground. Which is all fake ducks, really.
And then all of a sudden they're like...
Whoa. Yeah. That's a flare.
That's a flare. Yeah. Hanging up, I think you'd define that in like a high wind. When they're up, they're just kind of and looking around like this. Then they're hanging up. Does that make sense?
Are they kind of stationary?
Yeah.
That's what ducks do, right?
Yeah, really surveying.
Geese, can they do that? Can geese pull that off? Or are they like too big?
Yeah.
I would say they do it more than ducks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yep. I knew that.
That's why you asked.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Ready, Ted?
Yep.
This is a tough question right here.
Okay.
Single or married?
Me or the ducks?
What subject are we on?
The ducks.
Well, I think a single Drake Mallard is probably a lot easier to kill than a married Drake Mallard.
All right.
Anyway.
Same question for you, Sam. Single or married?
I am engaged.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
I'm married.
You are?
Going on 10 years.
Yeah.
You
have I can tell that about you, by the way, Ted, because the thing is, those of us who are married, have been married a while, there's a certain level of maturity in life that we've gained that those without children just can't grasp.
Yeah.
In marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'm good with that.
Soak it up.
There's also a certain amount of freedom we lack.
Certain amount of jealousy that I have.
All right. Okay. Sam, ready?
Yep.
Locked up or locked down?
Locked up.
Locked up.
Yeah.
What's that mean?
If we're talking about ducks, I mean, they're locked up and committing to the decoys. Locked down, I think, of deer hunting.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd agree with that.
That's the correct answer per Google.
Great.
Fair enough.
Locked up. So when you say locked up, that means
Wings cup, like,
so that means they're committed to land.
Yeah.
It's not like they're hung up and stopping.
no, they're like
They're-
locked up coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. A few times when I heard locked up, I was like, dang it, they're not coming. And then it's like, get your guns out.
Yeah.
All right. This one's for you, Ted.
Okay.
Cupped up or screwed?
Cupped up or screwed? Well, two things. If they're cupped up and they stay cupped up long enough, they're screwed. But I would have to just say cupped up.
Cupped up.
Yeah.
That is the correct answer
Okay.
per Google.
That was really tough.
This is, by the way, folks, this is duck hunting lingo 101. Cupped up or screwed? So cupped up, what does that mean? Because it sounds like, jock strap is involved and things like that.
Yeah.
But
Same
Cupped
thing,
up is
same
exactly
thing
the
as
same
locked
as
up.
locked up.
Yeah.
oh, really?
Yeah. Like cupped wings, cupped and committed.
Ah,
You know, where they kind of
yeah. I can picture that,
do the Hercules.
Yep.
which is super cool. Like
Awesome.
today, we were sitting in these pit blinds, out, looking out this hole in the ground, and I've seen those, like on the guy's truck, Jaden and Cody yesterday. What is it? Give them 3.
Yep.
Is there? They were the gentleman guide service that took us out on this Great Salt Lake yesterday. They had the sticker in their truck where you got the different birds flying in, like with their cupped up, with their wings all, and it's kind of cool because one's this angle, one's that angle, and they're different sizes as they kind of are further and closer in, like coming in for the landing. It's a cool like sticker, but I didn't realize how true to life that silhouette sticker is to the real thing.
Yeah.
Like
It's too bad we didn't get to see that with mallards yesterday in that little hole. I mean,
Yeah.
that would, because if they would have come off the flats and come back to that hole,
yeah,
we would have just watched that again and
over
again
and over.
again. Yeah.
I would have liked to have killed a duck. After we hunted with Hank Shaw,
Yeah.
Hunt Gather Cook, up there in Arizona, I have been wanting to get a duck
Yep.
that I could pluck, keep the skin on, and do all the fancy things with.
Do all the Hank Shaw things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the two of you told me that, like, the trick, or one of the key things about cooking duck is not to overcook it,
Yeah.
because it's really a red meat.
Yeah.
And that's where people mess up.
Yeah. There's a lot of fat in the skin, but not a ton of fat in wild game in general, not a ton of fat. So you don't want to overcook any wild game, because once you lose that fat, you taste that gaminess.
Yeah. The thing is, we ate it with Hank and it was friggin' delicious. I could just take the skin and drop it in a fryer and eat it like duck skin.
It's good.
I'm all about the fat, boys.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of looking forward to that. Some cool ducks like around Christmas, and just there it goes.
Yeah.
But
We got like another month out here, don't you? Duck hunting? Doesn't it run through mid-January?
yeah, I suppose I could sneak
Get
out
back
again.
out there.
Yeah, because we didn't actually kill a duck on the Salt Lake. Well, yeah, our guide shot one as he was walking
on a walkabout with Adam Greentree.
So yeah, we got screwed on the ducks, but Kimmy and Rihanna and a bunch of gals went out and hunted ducks. They killed like
Yeah,
40 or 50.
They did very well.
Here's the thing: when I hear that many ducks being shot, I think they've just decimated the population. Like, just as individual, I think, how can you shoot so many in excess? And then you can go the next day and you can shoot 7 more or whatever the limits are, right? And you can shoot 7 more and you can shoot 7. I'm like, holy cow, you're going to eliminate all the ducks. Until yesterday, when I saw giant black clouds of what seemed like millions of ducks. Yeah. And I'm like, no, we're not really going to dent this population through hunting.
No.
It's not going to be the thing.
Nope.
No, they're doing just fine.
Yeah. And I did read years ago that duck populations are highly, they can be volatile at times, but their populations are, and the stability and the growth of their populations are tied wholly to habitat.
Yeah.
And water.
Yep.
So if they lose habitat or if there is a drought,
then it can be bad.
Then or the nesting sites and
yeah, there's a lot of variables, but yes, definitely climate based.
And that's what I heard is you'll lose, it's sort of like that with mule deer in Colorado, for example, where you'll wipe out 70% of the population with a harsh winter.
Yeah.
And hunters are taking 7% or 10% of a population. That's sustainable year over year.
Yep.
You can take that 7 or 8% every year and you're still going to have the same number every year. Once you get to a carrying capacity that you're okay with. Well, ducks, it's almost like you can take however many you want until you have that, harsh winter, whatever you want to call it, drought. And that's really where the populations get impacted with that species. It's pretty wild. That, and, if you use Agent Orange, like that was a problem.
That's no good.
We kind of did some stuff back in the 70s that wasn't good. Okay. I got one more, for you, Sam. I kind of know the answer for Sam, I think.
Okay.
So I'd like Ted's opinion on this. And don't be bashful, man.
Yeah.
Like, lay it on the line. If you feel like the right answer conflicts with Sam Soholt,
sure,
that's okay.
All right.
Okay? I'm not setting this up or anything.
Okay,
here we go. School bus or Winnebago?
Ooh.
Be honest.
Tough.
Green Tree, Griswold, Winnebago.
So,
or school bus.
Are we talking same year, same vintage? I mean, if they're both a 1993.
Yes, they're both in 1993.
I'm going to have to go 2 ways on it. I would take a school bus the way Sam has it set up. I would take a Winnebago over an empty school bus.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So what about a Green Tree? It's like, I feel like Adam.
Oh, the new one?
Yeah, the new one. I feel like Adam really, he's competing hard with Sam's lifestyle in the school bus.
He's trying to.
Yeah. That Winnebago. Come on now.
Sure. I'm sure it's great.
Yeah. It's pretty posh.
I haven't seen the inside of it.
If I was to give you any advice.
Winnebago.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So, Sam, how's school bus life treating you?
School bus life is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Had a great fall.
And for people who don't know.
Yeah, I suppose I should.
Yeah, real briefly. You've been on the podcast before, but real briefly. For those that have no idea what we're talking about, can you give them a brief?
Yeah, I took a 1993 Bluebird school bus. It was yellow, normal school bus. Bought it, ripped all the seats out, and completely rebuilt the inside to be my rolling hunting shack. And I did all of this in the name of raising awareness surrounding public lands and how important they are. That's probably the most brief way I can say it.
And it was labeled like the public lands.
Yeah, like it doesn't really have an actual name, which I know still doesn't have a name, but it's pretty much just known as the public.
What was the fiance's name?
Ashley.
I
Yep.
don't know, man. You could name it Ashley, except then it's kind of bloated and large.
Yeah,
and I don't know.
Can't name it after my fiance.
I'm just going to start calling it Ashley. How's Ashley?
Let's just stick with the public land bus.
Okay, public land bus, and then you started driving it around. Mm-hmm. It certainly was a fun project, and it's if folks haven't seen it, you got to go to Sam's Instagram page. Probably is that where you can get the most photos.
Place to see it.
And they can see you've built like an annex on the side, a canvas like wall tent, auxiliary space.
Yeah, big awning,
Yeah.
enclosed awning with a wood stove and everything.
It's
So
just
it's,
a posh hunting camp.
nice. All in all, 400 square feet when I roll into camp. It's pretty good.
And I would say the only downside, really, I mean, as far from the outside looking in, is perhaps the unwieldy nature of a school bus.
Yeah,
And the gas mileage.
Yeah, it's I'm trying. I think I told Jordan this actually. He's like, "What's it like driving that thing?" He's like, "It's like driving an 18,000-pound microwave that's on." No, it's just super loud. It doesn't have a heater, so if it's below 25 degrees, I have to wear like my rubber boots and bibs, maybe a coat and a hat and gloves. If it's above 55, you just sweat the whole time you're driving it. So there's a really fine line.
You got a little temperature
range
comfort
where it's
range.
pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
But no, for what I'm doing with it, as far as getting attention and talking about public land and public land issues and, trying to shed a positive light on hunting and the hunting industry and that type of thing. Like the school bus is the perfect vehicle. It is definitely gets a lot of attention.
I mean, it's a public school bus
Yeah.
for public lands.
That's
I mean,
right.
it's the symbol of public.
I mean, that bus
use.
just runs on childhood dreams.
I actually rode in a 1993 Bluebird school bus to school.
Nice.
Maybe not I can't say. I graduated in high school in 1993.
Okay.
So I would have to say maybe 91 or
Yeah.
92.
Yeah.
Only a couple of times, folks. Otherwise, I drove my own car. But there were a few days where I am humble enough to climb on the school bus.
Yep.
It's good.
Yeah. Humble.
I'm pretty sure.
I've been humilified.
I'm pretty sure that my bus was a elementary school bus. Either that or middle school. But there was a lot of leftover things. Well, probably middle school. There's a lot of gum jammed in between the seats. And I almost lit the bus on fire the very first day that I worked on it because someone had jammed a bunch of sugar packets in this little box that went over the top of a heater pump. And I was grinding off some bolts and I somehow launched sparks into this little hole in the side of this box that houses a heater pump and lit those sugar packs on fire.
Sugar packs?
Like empty, like sugar packets, like the paper.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some kid had been down in sugar packs on the bus. And I started them on fire on day one.
Wow.
Yeah. It's gotten better since that.
Well, the bus rolls on, and you have for folks that want to learn more about it, we did an earlier podcast. They can go check that out.
Yep.
You go into detail.
Yeah, and if you want
some of the most awkward places you've stuck the bus and then had to get out of, we covered some of that.
Yeah. I did a full tour of the bus, like on YouTube, so people can see that. Just if you look up Actually, I titled it "The Ultimate Bus Conversion," which is a hot controversy for people on YouTube. Yeah,
nice.
It's not ultimate. I've been told many times. But yeah, just
piss people off.
But yeah, people can see more about it just on my Instagram, which is just my name, just at Sam Soholt.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then Sam, you have you've been involved in a number of conservation issues at the forefront here and there, and then you also are entrepreneurial.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Yeah, started a t-shirt company, my brother and I did. And to kind of we actually started at the exact same time that the bus project launched last year. But it's just public land tees, and $5 from every shirt goes to public land conservation. So we've been working with several conservation organizations, but have donated money to BHA, RMEF, QDMA, trying to work with a bunch of others. So
nice.
Yeah.
Tell me this. What is your favorite hunting program to watch?
The Hunting Public. Hands down.
Who are they?
It's actually some really good friends of mine that several of us interned at Midwest Whitetail at the same time in 2011. And then a couple of those guys stayed on with Midwest Whitetail until last year. And then they broke off and started their own thing. And it's a semi-live whitetail and turkey hunting semi-live series on YouTube, and they just crush it.
Primarily on public land.
Yeah. But the name, they wanted it to not only be public land, it's just the hunting public. So involving anyone that hunts. But yeah, they do mostly public land stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's actually become one of my favorite hunting deals to watch on digitally.
Yeah. I mean, after I used to film a lot more of the stuff for hunting shows and when I first got into it, and it got to the point where I can't hardly watch outdoor television, but those guys, it seems like every time they launch a new episode, I'm like waiting for it to come out. Well, I have binge watching.
I have a lot of guys come out and say, hey, how do you get started in the industry? Or I want to be working the outdoors and so on. And Sam, you've kind of done it. And so what was that whole internship thing like, and how did you get your foot in the door? And then how did you go from there to being involved like you are now?
Yeah. So it was, I'll shorten the story way down because a lot of things happened, but the internship happened because it was the year I had just bought a bow, had just got into archery hunting, and I ended up shooting two bucks with under 10 days in November, the first year that I archery hunted.
Okay.
Shot a little forky the first year, and then I was on some family land or a connection through family in North Dakota, and I shot a pretty good buck. And I was so jacked up about archery hunting, and had always had an interest in filming hunts and kind of whatever, that I just started cold calling hunting shows and emailing.
Really?
Yeah, I bet I called 30 of them and emailed another 30 of them.
See, Ted, he's kind of got the charismatic smolder going.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of people try that. They don't get in the door.
Right.
Right. We saw that at the restaurant last night.
Yeah, we sure did.
So, yeah, but anyway.
Changing the subject.
But, yeah, I called anybody I could get a contact for, and a friend of mine had actually sent me one of the episodes of Midwest Whitetail, which was the original semi-live online hunting show. And I just emailed their info, like asking if they ever were looking for people for internships or jobs. I was, finishing up my MBA, tried to make my resume sound as good as possible. And within an hour, Bill Winke got back to me and was like, yeah, we're always looking for interns every year. Why don't you come down over Christmas break and we can talk? And so I drove down to Iowa and met with Bill and a couple of the other guys in the office and got the job. But the internship was awesome. I mean, by the end of the year, I was super tired. I mean, it was 3 months of 2 sits a day, whether I was filming or hunting. And then in between was producing and editing and managing pro staff. And
so you learned a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it was straight trial by fire, just thrown in. And I was managing the pro staff of the Michigan show and editing that show.
Did you have like a mentor along, like tell this is how we edit, this is how we do this, is kind of teaching you, or was it like figure it out?
A lot of it was just figure it out and then ask questions to some of the guys that had been there for a while. But yeah, a lot of it was.
And at what point did photography come into play?
So that started the following year, the following year. So when I was done with my internship, I moved to Colorado, and I was working at Gannett Ridge in Fort Collins. My brother owns that backcountry hunting store.
Yeah.
And I was working there producing like product overviews, bow reviews for their YouTube channel to get people in the door. And I traded. So I had bought a bow before I went to Midwest Whitetail because they were sponsored by Hoyt. So I wanted to shoot a Hoyt.
Yeah.
So I bought a Hoyt, went down there, moved out to Colorado. My brother was a Bowtech dealer. So there's no way I'm going to shoot a Hoyt and work at the Bowtech shop.
Right.
So I actually traded my Hoyt, for an AR-15, a 1974 Colt AR-15, which is worth a lot now. But anyway, traded it for a gun, which I then sold and bought a Canon 7D with a kit lens.
So you were truly poor, really stretching it for gear.
Oh, yeah. My brother couldn't pay me. I worked for him for 11 months for no money. Yeah. So,
all right. And then it was largely self-taught on that?
Yep.
What about you, Ted? Because you're handy with a camera. How long have you been doing photos for the outdoor industry?
Full time, little over 2 years.
Okay.
Almost 2 years, I guess. But been dabbling and hustling for 4-ish.
Gotcha.
Not as long as Sam.
And how did you get involved in this? How did you go from like being a waterfowl guy to an actual film and photo guy?
Well, I've always kind of been interested, had a ton of interest in it.
Yeah.
Been a hunter my whole life. Hunter first. That's what Sam always says, and it's the same thing. I mean, gun or a camera, I would rather take a gun.
Every day.
Yeah.
But kind of a different path. I have a master's degree in sports medicine, and I ran a sports medicine college program for 7 years out of grad school, and had our first kid, and, you know, the schedule was insane. It's like I missed your whole early childhood. And then had number 2, and it's like, we got to do something different.
Yeah.
This is not going to work. And, you know, it was my schedule in the sports medicine thing was so busy, and I was turning down photo gigs because I just couldn't do it all. And I was, you know, hunting with my buddies on Sundays, taking as many photos as I could, you know, trading product for photos, trying to help everybody out, trying to, you know, working with this brand, and so many people have helped me out. It's crazy. I mean, I can't even list them off, but, you know, got into kind of the social media game. Started running Dakota Decoy's Instagram, 4 years ago. And that gave me a bunch of connections, and I took that account and kind of went crazy with it, with a lot of my own photos, and that helped, and a ton of other people's photos, and tried to, you know, just build out. And, you know, started my own Instagram too along with it, and then it just kind of kept going and going and going. And
into the dark side.
That's right. And, and then it just kind of, you know, visited SHOT shows the last couple of years, and shaking a lot of hands, and, you know, had a lot of beers with people, and good conversation, and trips with people, and it just kind of, that's what it's all about, you know, and getting to know people and enjoying time, you know?
Yeah. So. Yeah. Some people write in and they ask me, like, how do you make money doing what you do? Because it seems like you get to go hunting and you're outdoors a whole bunch. And that's the part that people see. They see, you know, me go out and have a day on the water.
Yep.
But what they don't see are the hours and hours I spent learning how to use a camera, learning how to film, learning how to edit and post things. That's just a whole skill set all in its own. That's technical. That has nothing to do with anything else.
Right.
And then there's hunting being a passion, and still I don't consider myself that good at it. It's something that I just love to do, and I work on and try to hone those skills all the time. And, and, you know, and then there's just being able to have the social skills and the people skills, and then being motivated to actually, you know, and okay with putting yourself out to be ridiculed or to be valued. You know, and all of it is a process. It's not just one thing. And so Sam, at this stage in your life, doing what you've done and being engaged as you are. I see that as a whole lifetime of decisions and hard work and sacrifices and then natural ability, all rolled up into what you do.
Yeah.
Making sense for you and finding value in you and what you do because of all of that. So when someone says, how do you do it? It's like, well, it's different for everyone. Everyone's path is a little different in life. And there's no real answer exactly. It's just,
there's no blueprint or playbook. It's just if you want something bad enough, you just figure out ways to do that. I guess. I mean, that's a very simple way to put it. And I feel blessed every day. We get to do a lot of cool stuff, but it's definitely not without a lot of work.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's sacrifice. I mean, the hardest thing for me is the family. Like, I'm on a 9-day bender right now. Saw my kids for 30 minutes on Wednesday.
Yep.
And like, I'm just sick about it, you know, and it's like, you go through all this stuff to, you have all these people supporting you, you know, and I mean, my wife hates hunting season. I mean, she gets so tired of it by now. She's like, really?
If I had been engaged, if this was my career at your age with kids that age, my wife would have hated it too.
So I've done this whole thing since day one with essentially full time with 2 kids and a wife that works. I mean, she's a nurse. She's a flight nurse. She's a labor and delivery nurse. She's a do-it-all. She has a master's in nursing. She loves it. And she's great at it. And she's in high demand.
Yeah.
And she travels. So she works in Billings. She drives 140 miles to work a couple days a week. And so I'm a stay-at-home dad, which I love. And and I think it's, in some ways, it's a struggle for her because I parent a lot differently.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, you don't parent.
We have a shitload of fun. And so when she's gone and then she comes home, she's like, the F have you been doing for 2 days? And I'm like, we had Fruit Loops for dinner last night.
You can't just be the parent.
And
it's always fun.
And it's difficult, man.
Yeah.
Like there's not a lot of things this time of year where we're like sitting next to each other, like, I love you. Good night.
Right.
But it's all, I mean, she's like, I couldn't do it without her. I couldn't do any of this stuff.
I agree. Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy to think that somebody like could love you that much to let you just go.
I'm a late bloomer in this kind of stuff. I mean, I had a great job where I didn't work very many hours per week and got to work from home a lot. And for, years I had a kind of white collar professional gig in an office, and it was great. It's great. Traveled the world, did a lot of cool stuff. But I never felt like I was really doing meaningful stuff. I was doing things that gave me income, which then allowed me to raise great little kids and provide for a family. But outside of that, my work itself wasn't that fulfilling. I didn't feel like it had meaning.
Sure.
Yep.
Right. And that was the thing. It got to a point where I was very comfortable in my life. I had no debt. I had worked hard to have no debt. I had a big savings and I was bored. And then I started spending more and more time in the areas that I'm passionate about, which was hunting and conservation and the outdoors. And I just kind of found myself here doing what I love. And then leaving the job, though, was kind of a big, scary jump.
Sure.
But my wife, like yours, our kids were a little older by that point. She had gone through cancer, kind of bounced back from it. And at that point, kind of, all our values sort of changed. It was like, man, she could die tomorrow. I could be gone tomorrow. Let's go after things that fulfill us. And then,
that was a big thing for us, is raising our kids in a place like living in Billings is metropolitan crime school systems are not the best. And like, where can we live that where I can piss off my front porch? We got great schools for our kids.
'Cause that's a critical. Yes,
super
no, I
nice.
agree. I agree.
It's really nice. And twice a day. And it's great. I mean, Bozeman's sweet. There's a lot of great people. It's a hub of photographers and
it's like an outdoor
and fun,
mecca there.
Fun dudes and people doing crazy all the time. And I mean, it's just like everybody's doing something, and our neighborhood is, we got half a mile to the elementary school and the middle school is right there. So it's easy. We ride our bikes to school. We pick them up with bikes. It's fun. The kids are walking all over the place. It's like a mass exodus at 8:20 in the morning with kids coming out of the neighborhood. It's super fun. In the summers, it's just nuts.
Would you say it was all worth it so far?
It's been really hard.
Yeah.
And I left a pretty high paying job. It was secure and, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's freaking scary.
I'll say this, like, to anyone out there that's at your stage in life,
I would not recommend.
As the kids get older, it gets exponentially easier.
Sure. And
it's unreal. Like a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 7-year-old, 10-year-old, like things get a lot easier.
Yeah.
When they are no longer entirely dependent on everything from you.
And my kids are fantastic. They're so much fun. And it just, the sacrifice that we've gone through is crazy. And we've all sacrificed all kinds of stuff to get to where we're at. Friendships is another big one. It's tough. Like, hey man, we're going to hunt this weekend with the old hunting buddies, which you would rather do nothing but.
Right.
And sorry, dude, I'm doing this. And then
I'm not very good at that.
Like,
Jordan's horrible. Harbison, fear of missing out.
Yep.
FOMO, that's real.
Yeah.
And so, when we get invited to something, I really need to say, no, can't go. I have a ton of work I have to do. It's hard to say no.
It's really hard.
It's like, well, just this. And then then something else comes up.
Yeah.
My wife's like, we need to go see the family over here for Christmas and blah, blah. It's like, I can't fit it all in.
Yeah.
You know, so,
Yep.
Yeah.
but those are kind of first world problems.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Speaking of which, I want to ask, Sam, your first world problem, like pet peeve, because I assume it's not really a third world issue.
This is not a. This is not
Because
a.
I would like to know Sam's pet peeve.
So I travel a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, this just got under my skin the first time it ever happened when I started traveling, and it has never gone away. I thought I would get over it, but I don't. And when you show up at baggage claim, there's this long, long conveyor belt, right, of all the bags.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, the conveyor's not moving, and everyone's kind of just standing back because you don't want to be the person standing up next to the conveyor that's not moving. But as soon as it starts moving,
this is going.
as soon as it starts moving, everybody crowds the conveyor belt. And so half the people can't see what's coming around. When if you just all stayed back 10 or 15 feet
And step forward.
and stepped forward when you saw your bag and then left, all problems solved.
Yeah.
No, people can't handle it.
You can't do it.
You know what, though? We have it pretty good because I went to India for work.
Yeah.
And that place is different.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild. And every man for himself a little bit. Mm-hmm. We got on this domestic flight, which never fly domestic there. I mean, if you're going to fly, it's international or take a bus. Although the roads are, I mean, it's all bad. But we got on this domestic flight. And then when we got off the plane, here, you know how when you get off the plane, like, the people in the front go and the next guy goes and everybody waits for the person in front of them to grab their stuff and go and get off the plane. In India, imagine the plane is taxiing. People are grabbing their bags, opening hatches, and they are just shoving their way through the front. It's a free-for-all melee. And I'm not joking. It reminded me of like Romancing the Stone. Like, were there on the bus with the chickens and the they didn't have chickens on board, but they might as well have it. The chaos was out of this world.
Yeah.
So I feel like I never, like, at that point, I felt pretty grateful because it took 3 times as long for people to get off of that airplane because they were all trying to get off at exactly the same time.
Yeah.
If they had just in order, I've never been on a plane for so long deboarding just because of that.
That's pretty common.
Ridiculous.
I mean, it's super annoying when they pull up to the gate and the little, lights go off and everybody stands up. Why?
Yeah.
But when they do, they kind of stay in their spot and they open their thing.
It's stressful.
In general, they wait.
Yeah.
Sure.
It is.
But you always get that gal in the back that's like 17 who thinks she can get off the plane first.
Yeah, or the one that farts all the time during your flight. That's
gross.
That's gross.
Yeah.
Okay, Ted, what's your pet peeve?
I have 3.
Jeez.
Firstly, ready for this?
Yes.
Impatient stay-at-home moms in the car pickup line at school. Secondly, most of those same women can't handle a roundabout.
Dude, you didn't go there, did you?
Thirdly, warm Coors Light.
Warm Coors
Can't
Light.
handle it.
Oh, really?
No, awful.
That's
what I got.
a sticking point. He's a simple man,
Yeah.
Ted.
So,
Simple man.
that's what I got.
Okay.
Mainly those first 2.
I feel like before we wrap up this podcast, this deep and meaningful podcast, we should
This
talk.
is a good one.
We should talk about.
So you're a duck hunter now.
Yes, I'm a duck hunter. People.
That's right.
Like, in fact, I am really enjoying the power of a gun.
Isn't
Yeah.
it great?
Yeah.
It's like freedom.
Yeah.
And duck hunting's the best sport.
Duck
there is.
hunting, the geese, the whole thing, and then being able to go out with a rifle and hunt elk late season this year in the snow, and it's fun. Flat out.
So one of my 2018 New Year's resolutions was actually to start rifle hunting more. So I'm gonna do that again in 2019. I'm gonna stick to that.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
My goal is actually to do, I think, 60-40.
Yeah.
60%. I still 50, 60 bow hunting. about 40 or 50% doing rifle.
Yeah.
I'm 100-0.
100% shotgun.
100% shotgun.
I think you should branch out into some big game.
So in college, I shot a couple nice whitetails up in northern Montana. I was actually filling salmon on all my secret spots.
Ooh.
So
We won't talk about
we're
them
not
here.
going to talk
I
about
mean,
No, we won't talk about them here.
all right.
it. We may not even tell you.
Afterwards, we should talk about
Anyways,
this.
yeah, shotguns for life.
Yeah.
I do enjoy big game hunting. I like chasing people around and doing that.
Yeah.
And it's elk are fascinating to me. I've done a couple of archery elk hunts on the photo side, and it's so cool.
I got to admit, the duck hunting thing and seeing the different species of duck, and what killed me was how Ted's like, there's some mallards and there's some teal and there's some golden eye. And I'm like, dude, how can you tell? Like, they're just flying birds.
That's all you look at, man.
Yeah.
And, but I think, it's cool. It's something you develop an eye for, and it's just so foreign. It's fun because you're doing something new. You're learning about something new. It's always good.
Yeah.
And, my duck hunting, I did it for about 5 years, but we had a float tube. We had an Army surplus, net that we got that we made into like a ghillie suit.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We had some waders, and we had like 12 decoys that we kind of painted ourselves. And we jumped in the water as we'd hike out like 3 miles, jump in, float across, and kill ducks. And we'd probably go, I don't know, 4 or 5 times, 4 or 5 weekends in a 2-month window, slay a bunch of ducks.
Perfect.
And we did that for about 5 years. Same 3 or 4 water holes we'd hit, and it was a blast.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never really done anything outside of that place and that time. Mm-hmm. And but it's something I totally look forward to. But that was like 2000.
You were saying last
like
time.
more than 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like before my daughter was born. She's like 15.
Yep.
So it's been a long time. And after shooting some geese with a shotgun, I can't wait for turkey season.
That's right.
Sounds like
They're basically sky turkeys. They're black and white.
I'm seriously irritated. I do want to kill turkeys with my bow for sure.
Yeah.
But I do look forward to some shotgun turkey hunting. And we talked about this today, right or wrong. There is a thing about, I shot a goose and then I went and picked it up and it was still alive. And I wasn't sure what you do at that point. I didn't want to shoot it again, like put more pellets in the breast meat and all that. Mm-hmm. And so brought it over, learned how to dispatch it a couple of ways.
Yeah.
My heart does not go out to geese the way it goes out to other animals. Turkeys, trout, there's a certain class of animals that kind of fall into that category for me. Mm-hmm. Pigs, where it's like, I want to go get them, shoot them, bring them home and eat them. And I feel there's a certain freedom that comes from that, where every time I shoot an elk, it's like, or a bear, there's a certain amount of reverence I have. Mm-hmm. And my theory is the bigger brain the animal, the smarter it is. Uh-huh. But it has to also be coupled with how attractive it is.
No, I think you feel different about
pigs are pretty smart, but they're ugly. So people aren't compassionate to ugly animals.
Mm-hmm. I think the one thing that would sway your mind in that whole deal is if you had like the full waterfowl experience. So what we've done is, I think out on the lake was, we set the decoys and did that stuff. But the goose hunt today, we didn't have to scout that field. We didn't have to buy all the decoys. We didn't have to burn fuel finding birds. We didn't have to get permission. We didn't have to do all those things. We didn't have to pick up the decoys. Mm-mm. We set them out. We didn't have to pick them up. And so I think, going through all those phases of actually being able to hunt.
Like creating your own ghillie suit and like hiking
or investing in everything.
That's
my waterfowlers
spot. I never saw another guy out there.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
The waterfowlers are gear nuts, man. Like there's so many different things you could.
Oh,
and
dude,
it's so expensive.
when I saw the decoys and like the elaborate bags and the whole, like the stands.
It's crazy, right?
Dude, so you have to have a freaking airboat
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, here you do, I guess.
jeez.
Yeah. But I think if you saw the whole process and we're in it, then, shooting those first
That's
few
what I tell-
honkers would be a little different.
Deeper,
Yeah.
more mean. That's how I feel about whitetail.
Sure.
Some guys out west are like, well, you just like Isaac Ailman from Easton came on the podcast the other day, and he's like, whitetail, you just climb in a tree and you dump corn on the ground and you shoot a big buck. That's it.
Yeah.
There's big deal. And but when you actually do something like that and you put in the work and you realize the chess match that's involved and all the pieces, your appreciation for it is so different. Yeah. Yeah. I still, after all the goose poop and crap in yards and golf courses and in the park and how irritating they are, I don't know if I'll ever love them though.
I have pure hatred for them. I love it.
But ducks, I'm like, yeah, there's a part of me that's like
Ducks are beautiful.
in love with ducks.
Yeah.
Yeah. It goes back to geese are pretty actually, except they're just so common. They've lost their but man, when we were like plucking the breasts out, when you feel that down, that fur, those feathers on the chest, those bird leaves. Yeah.
Bird leaves.
Dude, so thick and soft. And
That's real goose
warm.
down, man.
Yeah.
That's expensive stuff.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to harvest that stuff? I mean, is it doable? Or
It is. So when I was in college, this sounds ridiculous.
Oh.
So this one season, I saw an ad on Craigslist and this dude was looking to buy goose down. And I'm like, well, I kill, me and my buddies kill a ton of geese. And like, what's this process like? Do I just give him the goose or what?
Yeah.
And, I called the guy or whatever, and he said, yeah, I can separate the down because there's certain process you have to get down to that real down,
Right.
And so basically, and this didn't last very long because it was a total pain in the ass, but I would get, the big black trash bag and just grip and rip all those feathers off the breast and put them in a bag. And, when you, late season Montana, you go out and shoot these big cold weather birds, they're tough. And, you take 8, 10 of your friends and shoot 50 of them. I mean, it's a process, right? Mm-hmm. So I remember one time I said, guys, we can sell our down feathers. They're like, get out. Yeah. We're making business.
We have garage loads
We're going to make
these.
money for ammo and gas. And they're like, sweet.
That's how these things start out. It's like stripping copper.
Right. And we're all so pumped. So we go out and we shoot a limit of geese like on a Sunday. It was like 45 geese. So we get back to my house and we start pulling the feathers out, and we literally ended up, and it was terrible. It took us like 3 hours to do 45 geese. And so we literally ended up with like, I don't know, what are those?
Like
how many gallon
like
trash bags?
30
the big
gallon
leaf ones?
Yeah,
like
40
50-gallon ones?
Uh-huh.
Like 15 of them full of feathers.
Really?
When you pull all this, they're big.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they fluff out and everything.
And we weren't smart enough to just start smashing them in like 3 bags or whatever.
No, you don't want to wreck them.
No. And so I called this guy, right? And it's like the evening at this point by the time we get it all cleaned up. Hey, man, we got 45 geese worth of feathers. And the guy's like, sweet. I said, how much are you paying? Because we never even talked about it. He's like, how many pounds you think it is? I'm like, nothing. I have no idea. But these bags are big and they're way like less than a half a pound each.
How many pounds?
He comes over and picks all this up, gives me $20. And I'm like, no, I'm never doing that again. After that, I'm like, I am no longer in the goose down market.
It seems like that would explain why a sleeping bag costs so much money.
That's a ton of
800 fill down or something.
That's why they're so expensive. Like real down.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, most
it seems like there should be a machine, though, that does this for you.
There is.
Yeah, there
right?
is.
Like a down machine.
A plucker machine.
Yeah.
Plus
And it like separates the down.
Yeah.
Like the whole deal.
Sure. There is. They're expensive. So that's my story about down.
Is it all goose down? Is that kind of what people use, or is it another critter down?
So. I guess
like, I assume it's goose down,
question.
right?
I'm sure there's some like real fancy duck down stuff. I'm sure, but I bet you it's mostly goose.
Those fancy down jackets are all them geese.
But I would imagine that most of it's not coming from Canada geese.
No. some kind of snow goose or something.
Well, most of it's going to be farm raised.
Yeah, domesticated geese.
Because you're not going to
You're not going to pay
hunters
to go
$20.
shoot 'em.
Well, I think it's illegal. Market hunting's not legal, so you couldn't really sell it.
Farm raised.
Yep. Porkies.
Would that be considered market hunting though? Unless you set up.
Yeah, you can't sell any part of the animal, even whether it's meat or it's hide or it's anything.
Feathers or bird leaves.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
It only could even come up as a possibility in terms of ducks or fish, or because there's certain limits and collections you can get where you could actually resell it it's like no one really thinks about, taking 75 deer hides and converting them into, leather gloves, because it's not legal to shoot 75 deer to begin with.
Yeah.
You get one.
Right.
So
that's interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, it's interesting. North American model of conservation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Sam.
Yeah.
You've been involved in land and water.
Yeah, I've been trying to keep up a little bit with the Land and Water Conservation Fund. And if anybody out there listening doesn't know what that is, it is a fund that was started, now I'm going to get it wrong. I believe it was 1964 was when it was first instated. Mm-hmm. And basically what it is it is a portion of the profits from offshore oil drilling goes into an account. And that account was set up to do things for conservation, habitat, and a lot of other things that probably weren't looked at in the first place, but, building baseball fields and green spaces and protecting cultural places. And at the end of September, the LWCF in its current form expired because they didn't pass a new resolution to have that continue. And so the sportsmen and women and people all over the country have been urging the Congress to get a new bill passed, the new LWCF passed, permanently reauthorized. And one of the best chances to do that was within this calendar year, but that's not going to happen. So there was a lot of people on both sides of the aisle that had come together and they were banging on doors and making sure they got the votes to get this done and get it passed in 2018. And there were 2 senators that killed it. So Rand Paul from Kentucky and Mike Lee from Utah got it killed. But
man, I hate Mike Lee.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
Me and Mike Lee, we don't see eye to eye.
Yeah. So a small glimmer of hope is Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who was actually a bit of a roadblock for the LWCF leading up to it not passing this year. So there was a lot of people angry with him, but he did, and this could be all talk, but he did assure people that going into 2019, he would make sure the LWCF does get passed and pushed forward. So we'll see how that goes based on all the budget fights and everything currently happening. It's a big mess, but with any luck, that will be passed. Because it doesn't matter if you hunt or not, or fish or not. The LWCF has improved your life if you're out there listening in the U.S. in one way or another. Money from that fund has gone to every county in every state in the country.
Yeah. How can people get engaged and in this issue and support it?
Yeah, the best thing to do is just call or email your senators and legislators. Like that's the best way.
I know,
and there's places that you can go to. BHA does a good job of having take action links, and so you can go to their link and it'll pull up, and you just pick which state, wherever you are, and then it pulls up your senators and congressmen, and you can send an email directly to those people that you voted into office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yep.
Any other things, any issues you want to bring up?
Not currently. It's since it hasn't really died down, but the last big kind of wave of frustration came when Mike Lee said that he was trying to basically get rid of all public land, and that was the last big thing. But that was in July when he kind of laid out his comparing national forest and wilderness area to the King's Forest somehow.
Yeah.
But currently it's
we talked about that quite a bit on the podcast. And insanity. Jordan and Lantani went and visited with Mike Lee. I think it's a uphill battle that we're still waging, and it's going to be that way for a while. And I try to stay plugged into backcountry hunters and anglers and TRCP and other organizations that kind of keep me abreast of what's going on and can send me an email and say, hey, Brian, we'd like you to take action here, do this, do that, or mobilize the masses, basically. Yep. So I do encourage people to be part of those organizations because we need the voices as much as we need the money. Yeah.
And if you don't want to join one of those two, there's a ton of other ones that are also in the fight. I mean, we're all in this together. Who was it? Who said conservation is not a competition? Is that Callahan?
Could have been.
Yeah. Either way, it's a good line.
I'll steal it.
Just get it. Yeah.
Gritty said it.
just the biggest step is just get involved, whether it be a local chapter or a national chapter. Either way.
Right.
And then just vote and contact the people you put in office.
And then people should go out and buy a Sam Soholt shirt. I think.
I agree.
I mean, you're having trouble. I mean, you're newly fianced, man.
Yeah.
Is that a word?
Yeah.
Fiancéed, man.
But above and beyond that, the more dollars that I can send to organizations that are out there, doing this every single day, the better.
Plus, I mean, basically someone can get your gear and support a good cause, and your stuff's super cool. They can be part of the Sam Soholt tribe.
Yeah.
The public land bus. I don't know what to call it, like the photo tribe, the hunter tribe.
It's a bus, so the students.
No, it's really cool, and I've seen some of Sam's upcoming stuff. You got some really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for 2019.
Like retro looking. Yeah. It's neat.
Yeah.
Neat designs. Cool Sam's a creative dude.
Yeah. Try to be.
Yeah. And they can follow you on Instagram.
Yep. Follow me on Instagram, just at Sam Soholt, or YouTube, also at Sam Soholt.
Yep. Ted.
Yes, sir.
Do you sell your photos?
I do.
To the public?
I can.
Do
you have like a website set up for that?
I do.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Would you like
to? Do you, Sam?
I actually don't. I have sold some photos to some people, but I don't have like a website set up specifically for photography sales.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm not good enough.
I don't know if I have like the sale tab on there because it's kind of confusing, but I mean, like people reach out all the time through direct message and stuff. And
they can DM you and stuff. Yeah. And do they mostly go through Instagram, or do you do have a website? Is it like tedwells.com?
twellsimage.com.
twellsimage.com, which is the same as your Instagram handle.
Yes, sir.
At twellsimage.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
It's art, man.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It is
beautiful
fun.
work. All right, folks, we're going to wrap this baby up. We got other things to do.
That's right.
The party is not over here,
but
it's over for the podcast. Thank you for listening. And as always, stay gritty.